Family visa salary threshold levels may not be hiked under a Labour government, says a top immigration expert. Britons currently need to earn at least £29,000 a year to sponsor a loved one to come and live in the UK from abroad. The wage threshold is set to rise to £34,500 later this year, and then again to £38,700 in early 2025. In today's video, we will tell you everything about Labour's planning to scrap the UK family visa threshold, which was increased to £29,000 recently. So if you've not already, subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell icon to always be notified when we publish new updates. Now, without any further delays, let's begin. Madeline Sumption, director of the Migration Observatory at Oxford University, told The Standard. At the time it was introduced, Labour said that they had concerns about it. So, there is an important question there about whether they would lower the threshold or not. The Conservative government said that they plan to increase it further, but it's not baked into the rules. Given that Labour has said that they had concerns about the threshold initially, I would assume that they would not necessarily go ahead with the Conservative policy of further increases. Ms. Sumption was one of a number of experts who have raised questions over what Labour would do in government given that Sir Keir Starmer is days away from No 10 if the polls are right. The spotlight has shifted to Labour as the Tories are still 20 points behind in the polls after a faltering election campaign. Labour has said it would ask the government's independent immigration advisors, the Migration Advisory Committee, to review how the family visa scheme is working and the impact it will have on workers and businesses if it gets into power. London Mayor Sadiq Khan is among senior party figures who have criticised the scheme. Labour would ditch the Rwanda scheme, which the Tories have failed to implement, and process asylum claims, including from people who have crossed the Channel in small boats. It would also seek to boost the number of deals with other nations to return failed asylum seekers. Labour's manifesto is very vague on what they would do to work visas, she added, with its broad aim to reform the points-based system. A Labour spokesman said, Labour will stop the Tories' asylum system chaos and go after the criminal gangs who trade in driving this crisis. We will create a new border security command with hundreds of new investigators, intelligence officers, and cross-border police officers. We will seek a new security agreement with the EU to ensure access to real-time intelligence and enable our policing teams to lead joint investigations with their European counterparts. Major questions remain as to what the next government will do on the social care crisis, ailing NHS, cost of living crisis, homes shortage, court system delays, overcrowded prisons, and growing welfare bill. The debate on tax and spending policy has been dominated by arguments about how a series of relatively small spending pledges would be funded, Resolution Foundation Research Director James Smith told The Standard. But such debates are a sideshow compared to big questions about how the next government would manage the uncertainties facing the public finances. All this means that the fiscal debate has become detached from the fiscal reality. Some £19 billion of cuts to unprotected departments, including Justice, the Home Office and local government, are baked into post-election spending plans, he added. Labour has yet to commit to a date to raise defence spending to 2.5% of GDP, with the Tories saying 2030. Paul Johnson, director of the Institute for Fiscal Studies, has stressed, Labour's manifesto is chock full of reviews and strategies. It contains a detailed diagnosis of the problem in many areas and a welcome recognition that many of these issues are interrelated. All good, but no sense of what it will do when it finds it needs more resources to deal with these issues. Health experts at the Nuffield Trust have praised commendable ambitions to drive down waiting times, improve GP access and reform social care in Labour's manifesto, but warn of a stunning lack of detail on how key pledges will be delivered. Capital spending has increased more quickly in recent years, the IFG added, but maintenance backlogs in each service are still at record highs. Sir Keir has slowed down the implementation of Labour's £28 billion green economy plan. Ahead of an election, it may have been a politically astute move as the Tories pushed more populist, less pro-zero action, and Labour so desperately sought to persuade voters to trust it with the nation's purse. Economic prudence may be Labour's guiding principle, said Mike Childs, head of policy at Friends of the Earth. But there's nothing prudent about failing to invest in the measures that will safeguard our future. The UK's family visa income requirement has been a hot-button topic since its recent increase to £29,000 per year. This requirement, which applies to British citizens or settled residents sponsoring their partners for a visa, has sparked debate and calls for a return to the previous threshold of £600. Let's delve into the reasons why many advocate for this change. The most significant concern is the financial strain placed on sponsoring partners. The £29,000 threshold can be a significant hurdle, especially for those in lower-paying sectors or with regional variations in cost of living. This can force couples into difficult choices, delaying family reunification, taking on additional work with potential burnout, or facing financial hardship. Critics argue this disproportionately affects young couples starting their lives together. With rising living costs, achieving the income threshold becomes even more challenging. This can lead to family separation, causing emotional distress and hindering long-term relationship stability. Opponents of the increased threshold highlight the issue of disparity. The £29,000 figure doesn't reflect the varying costs of living across the UK. A couple living in London might find it significantly harder to meet the threshold compared to those in areas with lower housing and living expenses. This creates an uneven playing field, potentially impacting those in specific regions more severely. Furthermore, some argue the requirement is not proportionate to the goal of preventing dependence on public funds. Critics suggest a focus on genuine financial maintenance and a long-term plan for self-sufficiency rather than a rigid income level. The higher income threshold raises concerns about the UK's attractiveness to foreign talent. Skilled individuals with British partners might choose other countries with less stringent visa requirements. This could hinder the UK's ability to attract and retain a diverse workforce, potentially impacting economic growth and innovation. Advocates for change propose alternative solutions. A tiered system based on regional living costs or a focus on combined household income, including the applicant's potential income, are potential alternatives. Additionally, exploring a probationary period with a lower income threshold but a requirement to demonstrate financial self-sufficiency within a set time frame could be considered. Ultimately, the debate highlights the need for a balanced approach. Ensuring genuine financial support for families is important, but so is fostering family unity and attracting skilled individuals. A more flexible and evidence-based approach to the income requirement could strike a better balance between these crucial goals. The issue of the family visa income requirement is complex and multifaceted. While the government's stated aim of preventing reliance on public funds is understandable, the current threshold creates significant challenges for many families. A re-evaluation that considers the impact on individuals, regional disparities, and the UK's overall immigration strategy is necessary. Open and informed discussion can help pave the way for a more just and effective system that promotes family unity without hindering economic and social aspirations. Share your thoughts with us in the comments section below on whether this will be cancelled. Don't also forget to subscribe to our channel for upcoming updates.